Welcome back to the PulpMX Fantasy Show presented by Maxxis Tire. I'm Donnie from RotoMoto. In this video, I'll give 4 riders that I like for Washougal this weekend, 1 that I don't, tips for picking the FFL, a weather report, race day schedule, and of course, the early look at my team, all courtesy of Maxxis Tire. You know Maxxis Tire. You know their MXST tire designed by the king of Supercross and my all-time favorite rider, Jeremy McGrath. It is the newest and most advanced tire on the Maxxis MX lineup, featuring an all-new tread pattern, compound, and composition to provide the stability, predictability, and traction that the upper tiers of motocross demand. Available at your local retailer and also at motosport.com. Washington native Preston Baseflew makes his return at his home race for the Bar X Suzuki squad after suffering a broken thumb at Hangtown. In the 450 class, Dean Wilson comes into the class to score some SMX points this weekend in the Forest, but unfortunately PulpMX announced the decision to part ways with Garrett Marchbanks so that he could prepare for the 2025 season with his new factory ride, so he will be out for the foreseeable future. Looking at picks this weekend, first up of course is 250 All-Star. This weekend I'm talking Tom Vial. The French-born rider comes into Washougal needing to finish 4th or better to max out a moto, something the 16 has done in 12 of 14 motos this season. His stats are uncannily consistent across the board, with averages all right around a mid-4. Don't let that 17th worst finish fool you, as that was the very last moto in the mud at Millville, and that failure is what allowed his handicap to be this high in the first place. A 250 rider that could score huge points this weekend is Star Racing's Daxton Bennick. Similar to Vial, we are using a bad moto at Millville to our advantage, giving him that 7 handicap. Bennick has been top 8 in 2 of his last 3 motos and safely within double points range in 10 of 14. A high floor and a high ceiling has to make Dax an auto pick this weekend. 450 side All-Star, let's look at Jason Anderson. El Hombre hits the PNW with a hefty 5 handicap, in part due to his DNF at Redbud. Outside of that though, Anderson has finished top 5 in 4 of his last 5 with an average finish of 4th. Ando has been top 6 in 10 of 14 motos this year, and with Webb and Tomac eyeing a return after the 2-week break following Washougal, it is a great time to cash in on higher handicap All-Stars this weekend. My do not pick of the weekend is Rockstar Husqvarna's Christian Craig, but not just the 28. I would steer clear of all 3 2-handicap 450 guys, which includes Phil Nicoletti and Harry Koulas. The mid-range of this class is super thin, and there is just no reason to go with these guys in this instance. They are clearly a step below the All-Stars, and even if you have all 3 of them match their season best in both motos, you are still capping yourself in the mid-60s, better upside in the higher handicaps this week. With so many juicy high handicaps in the 450 class, let's highlight one in the 250 class, and that's Preston Baseflew. Pivo comes into his home race with a whopping 17 handicap. If you have concerns about his injury recovery, I understand, but he has been on his bike for a few weeks already, and he was safely inside the top 27 in the first 2 motos of the year before a first-turn pileup claimed him at Hangtown. Last year, Pivo raced just once outdoors, here at Washougal, and all he did was go 17-21 as a true rookie in his first ever pro race. Do not be surprised to see him battling near the top 15 this weekend. Moving on to the FFLs, Deegan takes the momentum back, although Hymas should have had 1 if not for his injury. Given the state of Chance's leg, I would definitely steer clear here, leaving Danger Boy the obvious answer this weekend. 450 side, Lawrence and Cooper split again, and it seems like a coin flip at this point. With no paddle tire at play, this may be the weekend to swerve with Justin Cooper. The 32 was a 2-1 in the first lap here last year, while Hunter was 6-6. Hottest weekend of the year in the PNW this weekend, go figure, with a 97-degree high and sun in the sky. West Coast schedule this weekend makes it for a later start. Race day live at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Fantasy cheat sheets will drop on Twitter and Instagram around 2 p.m. Eastern, with the picks locking 1 hour later at 3 p.m. with the gates dropping shortly after that. My Thursday team has Tom Vial at All-Star, Daxton Bennick with a 7, Mark Finnis at a 9, and Preston Baseflew's 17. 450s, I have Jason Anderson as my All-Star, Grant Harlan with an 8, Derek Kelly's 12, and Max Miller rounding it out with a 17. Don't forget to follow PulpMX Fantasy and at RotoXMoto on both Instagram and Twitter for injury updates as the weekend rolls on, qualifying info, and stats and banter throughout the race itself, and those fantasy cheat sheets once qualifying is done and wrapped. Thanks as always for watching the PulpMX Fantasy Show presented by Maxxis Tire. My name is Donnie. May your chiz this weekend. Remember that 8 is great. And most importantly, have fun. Good luck, y'all.